Matthew 15:15. Apokrithes de ha Petras epen auto, phrason hemin tein parabalein tautein. To get the context of this, you might glance back at Matthew 15, verse 11, where Jesus said, it's not what goes into a mouth that defiles a person, but what comes out of his mouth that defiles a person. And you can see the intervening dialogue here. But Peter's asking back about that original statement. We read, then answering, Peter said to him, that is, Peter said to Jesus, explain to us this parable. Okay, several interesting things we can look at here. This apokrithes, this is another one of those pleonastic or redundant participles, very Semitic in style. Answering, he said. In English, we usually don't use two verbs of speech to introduce a quote like that. But apokrithes is from apokrinomai. And when we write that out, we say, oh yeah, that's one of those middle preference verbs. The lexical form ends in omai. So we're not surprised. We expect it to always see it in a middle or passive form. This theta is yelling out at us, easy chair. It is a passive form. It's a passive form conveying a middle idea here. So the form is aorist passive participle, nominative masculine singular, describing here Peter. That's why it's nominative masculine singular. But we'll call it a medial passive because it conveys a middle idea. The lexical form ends in omai. So answering, or we could say he answered and said, or we could even just leave it out in English. Apen is the second aorist of lego. Said to him, why is that in the dative? Well, of course, it's the dative indirect object. This word phrason, you know some similar words built off similar roots or stems, but this particular word only occurs one time in the New Testament. It's a hapax, a one-time occurrence, from phrazo, to explain. So this is an aorist active imperative, second person singular, where Peter's speaking here to Jesus. Explain to us, there's your indirect object, and then here's your accusative direct object. Explain the parable, or perhaps this parable. Notice tautein, this near demonstrative form, is in brackets because that is the way the editors of this Greek New Testament are communicating that the manuscript evidence is quite divided here, and they're not certain whether tautein is original or not.